Hello, 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 everybody. Thank you for joining me on the soup. No, wait, this isn't the soup. Oh, thank you for joining me on Morning Blend. No, wait, this isn't Morning Blend either. Oh, what am I talking about today? Oh, that's right. I'm not doing karaoke. I'm not doing a Bible study. I'm not doing a comparative religion. I'm not doing pop culture. Well, okay, hold on a second. I am actually doing pop culture today. But as it being Thursday and the third episode of Star Trek Lower Decks has come out, which a show I very much like, by the way, and that may get me kicked out of the fandom menace. It's just, I'm laughing my butt off. It's like, okay, you're allowed to like what you want. This show is shit. I like it. I laughed through the whole thing. It doesn't matter. Anyway, thank you for joining me, Parrot Head, Kronos, Kathia Star, and Mountains of Elysium. You guys are fantastic for showing up for an unplanned, unscheduled stream. I know I threw it out there as fast as I could. I figured I'd give myself a half hour to actually do a little bit of research on this. Whew, boy. As the subject says, I'm going to talk about the movie Cuties. Now, I may have to stop putting ice in my whiskey to get through this, but we're going to see what happens. Oh, my daughter's here. That means I have to watch my language. Hello, Taylor. Thank you for joining me. That's my older daughter. She's allowed to twerk if she wants to. The movie Cuties, coming up September 9th. What do I say about this movie? How do I start? It's a Sundance Film Festival. It actually got kind of positive reviews. I read some of the reviews leading up to this because I've been hearing people scream about it all day. At Sundance, it got like 7 out of 10. As far as, I mean, mind you, I've only been researching this for like 45 minutes. So it's, if you take it in context of modern society, which most people are going to, then it is, oh, hello, Captain Trek. Thank you for joining me. If you take this movie in the context of the way of the time and the place that it was written and filmed and directed, then you can go, all right, I guess it's a 7 out of 10. I don't think it's appropriate for America, but that's an opinion of mine. So to summarize, this is a movie about tween girls, anywhere between 10 and 13 years old, whatever the case may be, and it takes place in Paris, France. There is a young girl, 11 years old. The actress who portrays the young girl is 11 years old, and they portray these girls in dance troupe. And even here in America, young girls in dance troupes are not well treated as far as the way they're portrayed on stage. As a matter of fact, my daughter has a very good comment. She's been in dance for years. And yes, they make the girls go through everything. It's I don't know. I mean, yes, I went to the competitions. Yes, I watched the girls dance. Yes, it's not great. Okay. Now, I'm not going to watch the movie because I don't read subtitles, and I really would rather not watch a French movie anyway. So I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to let my 10-year-old watch it either. Taylor, you can watch it if you want to. Kronos, my daughter is in the stupid chat. You son of a bitch. Am I outraged at the movie? I'm outraged that Netflix brought it to America. Only because, welcome, Mark the Infinitely Tired. Mountains of Elysium. Hello, sir. I'm sorry that you're tired. I'm sorry this was a late stream. It was unplanned, honestly. We'll see you in the morning on the soup, I guess. I don't know. I really don't know what to think. A lot of people are going in a lot of different directions. The main problem that I have right now is the movie first hasn't premiered on Netflix yet. So, like I said, I'm not going to watch it. Although I have done the research, so I'm going to go ahead and continue with the stream, and then I'll go ahead and post the StreamYards, and we can talk about it. Oof. In our modern society, you have things like toddlers and tiaras, and you have showbiz moms and all those other garbage shows that I don't watch, but tons of Americans do watch it. You've got people throwing their little kids into programs which are explicitly sexualizing these kids. I probably wasn't supposed to say that. I don't really know what the rules of YouTube are. If this gets demonetized, it's no big deal because I'm not monetized. So that's a win-win for me. I can basically say what I want. I really hate those shows. I really do. And so I was never planning on watching the movie. I've seen it advertised. I didn't realize, since I had to take the last few days off, I haven't actually been on the YouTube to see what's happening around here. And so when I went on today, after I started feeling better, I was like, oh, what is this? And so I started doing the research, and I realized this is a very unpleasant, it's a very unpleasant reaction to a video. Oh, my avatar's all broke. Okay, hold on. I tried to fix it. Oh, thank you for bringing that up, Kronos. I'm sorry it took me so long to realize it. Let me switch it up a few times and see if that works. To bring it back to my regular avatar. You know what? I'm just going to show my new one since people are watching right now anyway. I like this one. The Drunken Philosopher. I like the drawing. It's got my mustache right, my hairline right. It's got my whiskey on top. It's got my favorite movie in the background. You can't beat that. Let me go ahead and fix that back to normal and see what happens. Let's go back to Daddy and Andrew. Well, yeah, that one's working. Well, I appreciate it, Kronos. Normally you're a very good troll, but at this time, I didn't realize you were talking about my YouTube stream, so I apologize for that. Normally I'm monitoring it. I'm sorry it took me so long to get to it. Nope, it's back to a great big white ball. All right. I'm going to go and switch it up to something that makes more sense. Immanuel Kant. How's that? The original drunken philosopher. No, Kronos, you're my wrench, but you're my trollish wrench. And I like it that way. Don't ever change. Anyway, back to the movie. So I got up this morning and I went on to the YouTube and I started watching a bunch of my favorite people and they were all talking about this movie and I went, what the hell are you talking about? So I went onto the YouTube and I watched the trailer and I looked at the description and I went, oh my. Oh my. Well, here's the thing. It's a pretty accurate description of our modern society. So if you're going to get really, really mad at a movie, you should get really, really mad at all those TV shows that are doing the same thing. You should really, really get mad at those programs that create this cultural environment that allows this type of thing to happen. However, like I said, I'm not going to watch it. Hello, Bruce. I'm not going to watch it. I don't like that my kids want to watch it. I don't. Well, my older sons don't want to watch it, but my younger daughter does, and I'm like, no. And it's a good thing she doesn't want to because it's in French. I'm not saying French people are bad. I'm just saying they're a bunch of frog-eating surrender monkeys. That's a really bad joke, but it's my joke, doggone it. So, hey, Cred Socks, how's it going? So here I am, angry about a movie. A lot of other people are angry about this movie too. I don't know how many of the people that are angry at this movie are actually angry at the competitions that these little girls want to be in. How many of the fathers go to these competitions and are angry at them? At the competition promoters, at the coaches of the teams, at the how many of these fathers, how many of these men, how many of these women that are angry about this movie who've never even seen it yet? And even I was mistaken about it. I watched the trailer a couple of times and I went on to another channel and I started commenting. I thought when I watched the trailer, and like I said, I'm not going to watch the movie because I don't read subtitles, but I read the subtitle and it said, I thought it said, this is for your wedding. Turns out it says this is for your father's wedding when I watched it the third time. Just to be absolutely sure I got the quote right. So I was mistaken. It's for her father's wedding. I thought she was getting married off at 11 or 12 years old. I was wrong. So that is my fault, and I apologize to anyone who saw me type that. In any case, it's, hey, Moira, howdy. I'm going to throw this open in a few minutes here. I'm just summarizing the trailer for Cuties. We can chat about it, and you guys can tell me how wrong I am for saying that we should be mad at every single competition show that is out there, including cheerleaders and toddlers and beauty pageants and everything like that. If we're going to be mad at this movie, we need to be mad at everything. So how many of the fathers and mothers and men and women out there who are angry about this movie coming to America, and I am too, by the way, but how many of you go out and watch your kids out there acting like the girls in this movie? How many of you have seen it? Now, I don't let my daughter, I wouldn't let her leave the house in a shirt, in a dress that was too short. I said, you either need to put shorts on under that or you need to go and put pants on. She'll never, ever wear a crop top if she leaves my house. But the girls in this movie are, and the girls in your society, the ones who are hanging out in the park, they are wearing these clothes. And they are 11 and 12 years old. What do you need? Hold on. Hold on just one second. Talk amongst yourselves. Give me a minute here. Let me mute the microphone, Lizzie. Okay. Good God. She wanted to show me what she was going to be for Halloween. I thought it was homework or something. I thought it was going to take a while. Oh, geez. All right. So, like I said, it was unplanned. Usually I go on much later at night or in the evening. So, anyway. Hey, Purple Valkyrie. Thank you for joining us. Oh, she interrupted my rant. Now I can't get all mad and stuff. Now, I've been, mind you, when I was 18 and I joined the Army, I was like, oh boy, strip clubs, yay, and all that stuff. But I was, well, little girls never really turned me on, and they still don't. So a movie like this would be like going to one of my older daughter's cheer competitions or my niece's cheer competitions. I'd be sitting there in a chair just going, this is irritating. But if you go out there on the streets and you look at groups of little girls, what are they doing? What are they doing? They're pretending to be what they see on TV, in the movies, etc., etc. They are learning their behavior from what they see out there in modern media, out there on the streets, from their friends, etc., etc. You just got to take that for what it is, or you stand up and you say, all of this needs to stop because this behavior is wrong for 9, 10, 11, 12, 13-year-olds. Now, I let my 14-year-old go free, and he has turned into a beautiful, wonderful young man. There is an age where you can say, okay, you can make your own choices, you can do what you want. 10 and 11 years old, I'm sorry, that is not the right age for that. So these girls are running around and they're wearing crop tops even when they're not in competition. All right, so that's the problem I have in the trailer, not the movie itself. The movie itself is a little girl learning about herself, trying to be like the other kids in the neighborhood, rebelling against her conservative family, etc., etc. I'm sure it's explored in detail. I haven't seen it. It's not my background. I haven't seen it, so I don't know. But when she goes out there and she starts acting like the other girls in the neighborhood, well, guess what? She's going to start dressing like the other girls in the neighborhood. And she's sneaking out of the house to do it. And so there you go. You just got to learn how to see through the smoke screen. Now, Netflix did, in fact, make a mistake in their original marketing. And I'm going to share that screen right now. Oops, I scrolled too far down. There you go. They made a mistake in their original marketing. Amy, 11, becomes fascinated with a twerking dance crew. Now, it should not say twerking. It should have said hip hop dance crew, and then everybody would go, oh, okay. But since it says twerk, everybody's up in arms about it now. Have you gone to a elementary school talent show? Because I have. I've gone to elementary school talent shows where there are girls up on stage doing the twerk, and their mothers have taught them how to do it. So twerking should not be the issue if you're angry about this. What should be the issue is society as a whole. If you're angry about this movie, don't watch it. I'm not going to. There's a lot of shows on Netflix that I like, so I'm not canceling my Netflix subscription. And am I angry at Netflix for bringing this over? Yeah, but I'm angry at Netflix for a whole lot of other stuff too. But this, in fact, is just the way little girls act if you let them. If you, as a parent, let these little girls act this way, then they will act this way. I'm angry about this. So this is the original way they marketed it, and they actually apologized for it. I'll go into that later. What inspired the French director? I can't even pronounce that name. I'm sorry. I really am. She replied, the day I saw at a neighborhood party a group of young girls aged 11 years old going up on stage and dancing in a very sensual way while wearing revealing clothes. Hey, what did I just say? Oh, yeah, elementary school talent competitions with teachers and principals and sociologists and social workers and everybody else, and they all clap and they go, oh, that was a great performance. If it's okay for elementary school kids, why isn't it okay for a movie? Now, like I said, I don't agree with it. I didn't agree with it in elementary school, and I stopped letting my kids go to the talent shows. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're going to rant and rage and be angry about a movie. Okay. What's the problem with our society that a 10-year-old can go to an elementary school and do the same thing and everybody claps? I know you're all equating it with the film industry right now, and you're like, oh, look at what they did in Hollywood and all this stuff. Now, let's move on to the pictures, shall we? This is getting thrown around Netflix a lot and YouTube a lot, and they say, oh, look at how sexualized these girls are. Have you been to an elementary school or junior high recently? I have. Guess what they're wearing? Now, here's your biggest problem. Most people point out this poster right here. Well, guess what? This poster is what you would see if you went to a dance competition. This poster is what was shown at Sundance. This poster is what no, this isn't quite the same thing they're showing on Netflix now. This is Netflix apology. We're deeply sorry for the inappropriate artwork that we used for Cuties. It was not okay. Nor was the representation of French film at Sundance. We've now updated the pictures and description. This is the new description. Amy, 11 years old, tries to escape family dysfunction by joining a free-spirited dance clique named Cuties. All right, so that is what you should be angry about. You should be angry about the society that thinks that an 8-9-year-old girl going up on stage and twerking at a elementary school program is fun and appropriate, and you can clap at it and be happy, versus a movie that is from a totally different culture. It was filmed in France. It was written by a French woman. It was directed by a French woman. It stars all these French people. And trust me, they have a different culture. We're puritanical by nature, and they are not. But I don't know. I won't watch it. I wish that Netflix hadn't bought it and brought it over here, but Netflix brings a bunch of movies over here that I wouldn't watch and I don't like. So why are we up in arms about this, but not going to the elementary schools and protesting there? Because we'd get bad press? Uh-huh. We would get bad press. We wouldn't get good press. We'd say, this show is bad because our daughters are twerking. And the news crews would show up and go, what's wrong with you? Why don't you like modern society? Okay, don't blame a movie. It's been us the entire time. We've been allowing this to happen for the last 25 years. All right, it's open up to anybody who wants to come on. If I end up with more than 10 people, I would like Taylor to come up first so she can express her point of view since she's been in that. She's been in dance troupes. She's been in cheerleading groups. So if Taylor would like to come up, she can be first, and anyone else who can come up can follow her. Your camera is a little bit off, Tay.
Yeah, I know. I look really bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah.
How you doing, kiddo?
I'm doing good. It's funny that you're talking about this because I actually just watched the trailer too today. And I don't know if you have Hulu or if you've seen Hulu, but when you started talking about this, there's this also Hulu came out with something and it's called I Pedophile or Petty. I don't know how to say that word, but
That's good
they're
enough. Yeah.
yeah, and they're saying that we should accept pedophiles and all this other crap, and I'm just like, whoa, I was blown off with that too. But something that I was thinking about with like the whole Cuties movie is that it's not just men or women, but it's like you're sexualizing your own kids. Like this is acting, this is fake, but like in the real world, why are you mad at a movie? But like people literally sexualize their kids, like and then you have like I can't say that word, but
That's fine.
pedophiles,
Pedo is
like
fine. No, pedo is fine.
okay, but pretty much this whole movie, like I feel like everybody's saying that it's like okay for pedophiles or whatever because you're sexualizing your kid, but at the same time, like I said in my comment, dance has been around for years, like in all different cultures. If you look at like, I hope this isn't offensive, but like if you look at Indians, you know what I'm saying, like
Like
they wear
Indians
crop tops.
from India or Indians as in Native Americans?
Wait, what? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Wait, what?
Indians as in Native Americans or Indians from India?
India.
Okay. What? All right. Taylor, where'd you go?
Oh,
All
I
right.
had to
No.
read this comment. It's like really, I have to get my face really close because I can't see like close up.
Ah. Yeah, exactly. It's not about the behavior of the girls. This is rated TVMA on US and not rated in UK. So who's this aimed at? That's the issue that got people really angry. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. If it's a coming of age story about tween girls, then it should be not rated or, PG-13. So I understand that they misrated it, no doubt, unless there's actual nudity in it, and I haven't seen it yet, so I don't really know. Hey, V Star, hello, Kronos, Robert Rose Jr. Thank you for joining us. Let me go ahead and highlight Robert Rose Jr. So PG-13 should be the rating for this movie, maybe. TVMA, definitely the wrong way to advertise this movie, and perhaps Netflix should have, because TVMA implies that only adults 18 and older are allowed to watch this movie. Anyone younger than 18 is not allowed to watch it. So yes, absolutely, that's correct. Who is this aimed at? It's aimed at adult males because it's 11-year-old girls, apparently. That's weird. Just weird. Okay. I don't. Oh God. Oh, I'm shaking now. Now I'm really angry. Whew. All right. Let me get that off of there because now I'm really mad. Whew. The Brooke Shields movie in the 70s called Pretty Baby, and she was nude in a couple of scenes. Wow. Never seen it, and I don't think I ever will. Ay, ay, ay. This really has been going on for a while, hasn't it? So tell me about your experiences in the dance troops and things, Taylor.
Um, I mean, well, you know how mom was. She was like really conservative. So, most of my dance groups, unless it was my high school, but you have it point on because in our hip hop groups, we would have to twerk. We would do like, what you would see in like rapper videos because
It's
that
part
was
of the
what,
routine and it's part of the grading,
yeah.
right?
Yes, and if you
Exactly.
didn't do it, like if you didn't hit, because how we got graded was on how you dance. So let's say you didn't twerk or that you didn't do it, that's points off. So that is like your letter grade. But when it came to like cheer and stuff, I mean, the thing that mom kind of had an issue with was like the short shorts.
Yeah,
But
she's
yeah,
never liked the short shorts, and that's why your sister wears the leggings and things because even under a dress, she'll wear the leggings. Um,
yeah.
but she's not in a dance troupe or anything like that. So, but yeah, I mean that's the thing is. Let me go back to this. Oh shoot, I deleted it. Okay, I don't want kids in short shorts on my computer. Ugh. Just ugh. But yeah, that picture that showed the girls in their dancing uniforms with the crop top and the short shorts, and they're all in those different poses and things like that. It's like, oh, I know they do it. I know I have to cover my eyes. I usually end up going out and smoking when troops like that come on stage. I liked it better when your troop came on with t-shirts and shorts.
Yeah.
That was my preference. All right,
But
I'm gonna welcome. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
like how you were mentioning that, like the picture of the movie, like how it was or whatever, like of the girls like in sexual dance poses. Believe it or not, a lot of our dance photos looked like
I know.
that.
I know. That's why you only spent a year or two doing that anyway. Your mom and I had discussions about that behind the scenes.
Yeah, I bet.
Ooh, all right. Let's bring up Colin P., my friend from across the pond. How are you?
Confused.
Confused on.
I was. I missed the first bit of your stream, literally because I was sitting here, heading my hands, trying to think how to word what I was putting on Discord. I've caught half a dozen. Oh, Tay, hi, my dear. Good to meet you.
You
That's all right.
too.
Just be polite to the young ladies. Well, I'm British and we're supposed to be. I'm a gentleman. I'm supposed to be a gentleman. You used to say so on my customs commission.
Nah, I said you're from across the pond. I never said you were a gentleman.
I'm British. My parents brought me up to be a gentleman the way we understood the word. Quite close, in fact, to the. If I'm actually allowed to say anything good about a certain part of your great nation below the Mason-Dixon line, what the good parts of the phrase "Southern gentleman" used to imply. And
The good parts, yes.
yeah, the actual bits where I would
If you want to hold on just 1 second, Purple
Sure.
Valkyrie says also that the film won a Sundance Award is irrelevant. I've seen people online use that as a justification for it. Okay, so there's a problem. Let me scroll down real quick, just a second. There. Thank you, Cred Sox. In 2019, the co-founder of Sundance was sentenced for child sex abuse. So, using the Sundance Film Festival as an excuse for the P word is it's not okay. You guys out there who are justifying the film. Now, I'm justifying the film as this is what we're allowing our kids to do even here in America. And so if you go out to a park and you see a group of 11-year-olds out there in the park, they're dressed like that. They're acting like that. Why are they acting like that? Because you're letting them act like that. So I know you're mad at Hollywood for putting this, or you're mad at Netflix specifically for putting this on screen. Well, guess what? It's been happening for a while. You just had your eyes closed.
I've got a feeling possible. I've watched maybe half a dozen, not quite videos today, from obviously this morning's or this afternoon, my time with Loki through Gary Nerdrotic dropped one, Az has dropped two. The last one I was watching actually was Tim Paul's. As usual with Tim, he tries to be rich centric. I was sitting on the phone and I was starting to write up saying about, I'm not sure which, I was going to start by saying something like, I'm not sure which is worse. The fact that the producer, the director of this film, went round photographing, watching people, young children and girls doing this, or the fact their parents let them do it. And then I had a thought. I looked at the company. When I actually looked at the Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb. IMDb has got 3 somewhat critical, at the very least, reviews. Rotten Tomatoes has got 8, I think, critic reviews. No audience reviews yet, but critic reviews. But the critic reviews, even the ones that are positive, that are fresh rather than rotten, are actually they're not glowingly positive. I've got a feeling, I'm beginning to get a feeling that basically Netflix effed up with the advertising for this film. Some of the things I've actually seen, including the interviews with the director.
She was also the writer. Yeah, the writer director.
I'm beginning to wonder if actually she seems to be saying that it was not intended as a fall. It was intended as a critique of how children are sexualized in double, once again, in double figures, prepubescent and pubescent children are actually sexualized. I'm honestly beginning to wonder if we're looking at this ever so slightly the wrong way.
Well, one of the interviews, and I actually read this out, one of the interviews that she had a response to her question, or response to her question, she said that she had interviewed little groups of girls and asked them, questions about, what do you think about this dance, and how do you like, and she would watch them, and she would only film them if she had their parents' permission. So she is an outstanding person as far as that's concerned. So she got the parents' permission to film these kids. when she was doing her research, she wrote the script separately. She hired actors to do the roles and things like that. But when she was doing her research, she never filmed a child without her parents' permission. So that the director is not at fault here.
Yeah, I mean, as V Stars just put in the comments, yeah, I think this is one of those situations where, let's say possibly because of the way Netflix actually
The way they
did the
advertised it and the way they classified it, yeah.
yeah, I think we need. I think yeah, we need. I think what we're seeing at the moment, and no offense to anybody, because I think what we may be seeing is gut reaction to an immediate the immediate publicity surrounding this. I've got a I've got a horrible feeling. This film does appeal to me that this is going to be one of those things where possibly the only way to actually have an informed opinion is going to be to skim and watch the film. I don't want it, the film. The film as a film doesn't appeal to me. No matter
I know,
what.
I think so too. And unfortunately, one of the problems that we've been having is that people are not watching the shows that are being reviewed or opinionated at. So I've watched Star Trek Discovery, and I think it sucks. And I've watched Star Trek Picard, and I think it sucks. And I've watched Star Trek Lower Decks, and I love it. I think it rocks. I can't wait for the next episode. I mean, I'm waiting for next week so I can watch the next episode. I'm really excited about it. I like it. So, Rambling Canuck, welcome to the show. How are you doing today, sir?
Not too bad, not too bad. So I guess I'll put it this way. I've watched Star Trek Discovery and it sucked. I've watched Picard and I liked it. I watched Lower Decks and it sucked. And from what I've seen of this show as a father, I'm appalled. How's that fit you?
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's an opinion you're allowed to have. Here's the thing. You can't go on ranting about it unless, if your daughter is going to these dance competitions, if your daughter is going out on the street and cutting her T-shirt in half, if your daughter is twerking on a talent show at 11 years old, shut your yap. If she's not doing that, well, then there's a deeper problem, isn't there?
Well, see, my daughter won't even wear a two-piece. She's 18. I'll just put it that way.
For the proverbial full disclosure, I don't have any children. My sister has 3 daughters. The youngest of whom is 21 this year. I can never reach her own, and I'll get my backside kicked for forgetting that. The older two, both of whom have kids of their own. So my sister is a grandmother. She's got 3 grandsons and 1 granddaughter. The daughter is really a useless uncle, aren't they? She's about 8. I think she's about 8 or 9 now.
Wow, how did we lose Captain Trek so fast? Goodness gracious. Sorry, go ahead, Colin.
He obviously bounced off our deflector shields. Star Trek reference. You've got to put a Star Trek reference in, haven't you? So yeah. I'm not coming at this from a parent's point of view. I'm coming at this from an uncle's point of view, if you like, but not a parent. So I'm finding it. The reason I said confused when you first come on, I'm actually not sure how to view some of these things. I mean, obviously, I fully understand, and to be quite honest, gut reactions are usually are quite often the right ones at the time. There's nothing wrong with gut reactions. But I'm finding that I'm having to think quite intensively about some of the things. I don't think children should be abused, obviously, but as you said, if young children, young girls in particular, are 11, 12, they're approaching puberty. As I understand it, obviously that's something I never went through. I was a boy when I grew up, and never around. But
sorry about that. I highlighted the wrong comment. V-Star, your reaction to the trailer, if this is what you're talking about, all right, clarify me if I'm wrong, but if this is what you're talking about, your reaction to the trailer is justified. It really does look like a porn video or a trailer for a porn video. So I was unhappy with the trailer itself.
I didn't see the trailer, but I was just listening to Loki and was it Captain Trek this morning?
Yeah, and Mexican Iron Man.
Mexican Iron Man, actually just watching it as they watched it and just listening to their reactions to it. The odd thing is that, I mean, I'm not a sports person. I've never been a sportsball person, but that picture that came up, it did also remind me somewhat of sportswear as well as dancewear. Possibly thinking about it, something which I have no experience of whatsoever because we hadn't inherited it from you guys when I was growing up, Heritage Sports School, of cheerleading, which obviously has a lot in common with dance because.
And welcome, Deej Odyssey. Thank you for joining us. Sorry, yes, go ahead. You didn't have a tradition of cheerleading.
No, we didn't have. When I was growing up in the 60s to 70s at school, my school, and that's blowing my age. We didn't have high schools. We had secondary schools. We had grammar schools. I went to grammar schools. Year one was your first year at secondary education, so you were 11 to 12. We didn't have high schools. We didn't have proms. We seemed to have brought several aspects of that level of education over from the States. So I don't have any direct experience of any of that. But I was like, the main thing about that picture was that it seemed quite sports as well, and obviously dance and sport have a lot in common. The thing that gets me though is, as you alluded to, as I said, you may have actually directly mentioned, I missed about the first 20 minutes of your stream, unfortunately. The girls, particularly out of that age, and please correct me if I'm wrong, and please none of the ladies in chat scream and shout at me. I'm seriously talking from a position of what I've observed and not personal knowledge here at all. They want, I mean, we all know children want a place, and girls in particular are quite well known for wanting to pick up on trends, to follow older girls, parents, etc., etc.
Oh, yeah.
Where did I get those influences? And as you said, what influences are we letting them? Are we actually letting them? Or are we subjecting them to?
Well,
I think,
for instance, my 10-year-old has a Facebook account, but I have recently allowed her to do TikTok as well. TikTok is pretty bad. It's pretty bad, but it's not as bad as some of the things you'll see on YouTube.
yeah.
She showed me some of the videos that she watches, and it's pretty funny. And, you know, I'll tap on her door and walk in her room, and she doesn't have time to change the screen or anything like that, so I can see what she's watching. And I'll do that once or twice a day just to make sure. And then every couple of weeks, I'll just, you know, I'll pick up her tablet and go, what she's been looking at, because I'm the dad. Screw you, SJWs. I get to look at what she's looking at.
I would say it's in your job description.
It is in my job description.
Because at 10 years old, no matter how, obviously I don't know either of your any of your children, I don't know your daughters, but 10 years old, she is still looking for.
Oh, she is so impressionable. Yes,
she's looking for both. I did a few years ago. I did a short introductory course to child psychology and child development, and I vaguely remember, how children grow. And one of the things that really annoys me about some of these things they say about on a related but different matter of introducing very young children to is that until kids are 4 or 5, they don't even necessarily understand that other people exist.
True.
Child through.
They're literally classified as sociopaths.
Yeah, I mean, there is a reason why. There is a reason why most countries, certainly in the West, have legal ages for certain things. I mean, to me, the concept, the idea that in those seconds between 1 second to midnight before your birthday and 1 second to midnight after your birthday, in those 2 seconds, you suddenly become able to mature enough to drive a car, to vote, to engage in sexual intercourse, to be legally responsible for your actions.
You got to come to the age of responsibility for each action you take. Yeah. Hey, Darth Haster, how's it going, my brother?
Hey, no.
All right.
That whole concept, if you look at me outside, it's a nuts idea. But what you have to do...
I need to interrupt you, Colin. Hold on just 1 second. Rambling, were you complete with your statements? I'm sorry. Go ahead if you want to continue.
Well, for me, like as a dad, and with the way I brought up my daughter, I'm the dad that was at the pools, basically giving shit to certain parents who would allow their 5-year-old to wear like a skimpy 2-piece, and I'd be, what the f is wrong with you? So for me, this type of show, I get why it's being made. But to me, the question that I always ask when I see covers like this is, okay, let's say I'm in somebody's home and that's their screensaver. Is it going to change my opinion of them?
Well, no, because generally their daughter is in that screensaver.
But if it isn't,
then there may be a problem. Yes.
This is what I mean, right? If you came across that picture, if you're at a friend's place, you're in their dining room, they don't have kids, and that's their screensaver.
Well, I got some really juicy comments going on here. And Robert or Resolute Germ, I did read your comment, and you know what? Let me just go ahead and put that up there. That wasn't a great decision letting your 10-year-old on social media. Sorry. You got to judge each child by himself or herself.
And to be honest and to be fair, Mr. CCD, what everybody has to realize is at this point,
they've seen it.
It's not even that. They almost have to be in this day and age.
Pretty much. I mean,
most schools now, in some form or fashion, will ask a kid, "What's your email address?" And that's at grade 6, grade 7.
Yeah, my daughter was getting that a lot. Thank you.
And that's the teacher asking, "What's the email address?"
Oh,
okay.
yeah. Okay, so
What?
a couple weeks ago, this is the one that I really wanted to point out. A couple weeks ago, some female American actress said parents should watch porn with their children.
I need
I
need the name.
Ow.
I need the name of that actress
Yeah.
because I want to look at this myself.
Because wow. And
People
welcome,
are stupid.
Angela
Just
Angeles.
saying. People are right down stupid.
Yeah.
And the best part is, they say this shite, and then the first damn time that it goes wrong and it, something happens, it's the parents' fault.
Now,
right away.
Here is what most people are really angry about on YouTube, and justifiably so. I mean, don't get me wrong. This is absolutely a justified anger, a hellfire, brimstone, preach it from the rafters kind of thing that you really need to get angry about. And trust me, I've had to deal with other countries that are dealing in child pornography and sex trafficking with children and things like that. So I understand. Whoo-wee. That's what most people are angry about when they bring up this subject of this movie. This movie in particular. Not Toddlers and Tiaras and not those other shows that I don't watch. That's the only one I can think of right now. Anyway, whatever.
Oh, the show, I thought we were talking generally.
Well, yeah, anytime you exploit little children, you got to expect, well, not in America, but even it happens even here in America. So you got to take it into account. What is happening to our society that this is acceptable now? And it's hailed and it's awarded and it's given props. And everybody says who doesn't like it is ist. How do you deal with that?
There is a difference. There is a very simple difference, I think. I mean, what I was saying earlier.
There's your answer, Allie Wentworth. If she said it in public, then she can say it in person to anyone she wants to.
Yep.
I don't exactly condone this, but I kind of see the idea of where she's actually going with it. Because by the time you're a teenager, you're discovering yourself sexually anyway. And if you can't search it with your parents, who are you going to search it with? Yourself on the hub.
Now, remember, we haven't actually seen this movie, and this is what children are dressing like out on the streets now. You got to remember that. Now, I like I said, I would not let my daughter walk to the corner store to get a drink without putting, shorts under her dress, actually changing her dress completely because it was too short. So we're going to throw that one away. But unless she wears tights under it, I'll talk to her. Anyway.
See, and can I add this, Mr. CCUD? Uh-huh. As a father, what I would be concerned about and why I would be opposed to my children being in a movie of such, it isn't even the exploit. It's okay Monday morning when they go to school after this drops. Let's face it, us boys are dicks. Even at 11, 12?
Oh, yeah.
Especially at 11, 12.
Okay. So how much do you want to make a bet that they're going to hear for the first 6 months of their school year? I saw you on Netflix looking good.
Oh, jeez.
Can you imagine when this goes viral and this actually drops, what each one of those girls are going to face in school?
Hey, Resolute Germ. I grew up in Los Angeles, so yeah, that's where I learned what 11-year-old girls look like in Los Angeles. However, I was actually in a small town in the mountains of Arizona. And that is the talent show competition that I was talking about. So, ooh, boy, 12-year-old girls shouldn't dance like that. That's my opinion. Anyway, but they are, even here in the States. So,
Yup.
and Darth Haster, or welcome, Angura and Jealous. Darth Haster, it is your turn. What is your opinion?
My opinion as a father is about the same as Ramblings. It is absolutely appalling, but on the same token, we've got girls on the street literally running around the same way. Even some of the older girls are looking just the same as these younger girls. Is that fault on us? No, it's not even that. I don't even think this is our battle to be fought.
Well, it's my
I think
battle to
it's
be
the
fought. I have a 10-year-old. So I have to fight the battle. Where else am I going to fight the battle? I got to teach my 10-year-old daughter how to act right. I have to teach my 10-year-old daughter what's right and what's wrong. When she turns 18, she can go out and twerk all she wants. I wouldn't like it, but it would be her choice to do so. So at 10 years old, no, absolutely not. I'm sorry I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, I think I'm good for now.
Okay. Welcome, Deej, to the stream. Angura and Jealous, you have an opinion on the movie?
Are you
the
talking
trailer.
about?
The trailer.
Are you talking about that Netflix little trailer with
Yeah.
that underage child
Correct.
doing
Cuties.
rather obscene acts? Yeah. This has been an issue for a long time, actually. That's the problem. I mean, I remember going to school back in 2002 in high school, and this shit was happening. And yet, somebody makes a movie about it, or a trailer, or whatever you want to call it. I'm sorry, but I don't know what you're wanting to do here. Are you actually trying to show the world this is what's happening to our children, or are you embracing them?
Well, that's the argument that the director made. She went out and interviewed groups of girls, and she recorded them dancing with their parents' permission. But she did this before she wrote the script. So she did this for research. She was on the streets of Paris asking groups of girls, what kind of dances do you like and will you show me? And she did this before she wrote the script and filmed the movie. So this is what our children are doing. This movie is not, although it was rated MA, and in my opinion, it shouldn't have been brought to the States, but this is what our children are doing. So if you view it as a documentary as opposed to a narrative, then maybe you'll have a different perspective on it, because this is happening.
Yeah. I mean, even as a documentary, it's still not a positive side. I mean, that's the problem.
I
mean,
do agree. Is there really a positive side to this?
To the movie? They call it a coming of age story.
Yeah.
Like I said, I haven't seen the movie, but they advertised it as a dance troupe and a little girl who rebels against her parents. So those are two things against it, I really think.
well, here's the weird part about it with me. All right. I've actually grown to actually enjoy the dance movies. Fuck. What are the names of a few of them? Anyways, the
Right.
90s dance movies that, I mean, it's like a coming of life ordeal for them to dance. It's their life, you know? And some of the things they do are risque, but you also know every actress and actor in there is at least 18 years old or older. So, I mean, yeah. In that light, when you have a 15-year-old who's essentially doing the same essences of what adults would do, it shows just how much children reflect what their adult predecessors do.
Yeah, 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 and that's so. This is not okay. So, Purple Valkyrie says it's not filmed as a documentary; it's a drama, and that's absolutely right. It's
Yeah.
labeled as a coming of age drama, which she's not coming of age, for crying out loud. That's
Yeah.
like 14, 15, 16. So, but at the same time, yes, it's filmed as a drama, so you can't.
As a drama,
Uh,
I'm sorry, that's not entertainment. That is essentially pedobait.
oh, I know. As a matter of fact, let me see up here in the chat. Doo-doo-doo. There, Philip Gaming. So this is leading to normalization of pedo behavior, the cover up of Epstein, the troll dolls, etc. There will be more. You're absolutely right. And the only thing we can do is rebel against it. But like I'm saying, it's not just Hollywood. It's
Yeah,
not just
and there's even
Hollywood.
one more added to that pile, and it's a YouTuber. I'm not going to say his name, but I mean, I think everybody knows who it is. And here we are. What the fuck?
Welcome, Deej. What is your opinion?
All right, since I don't have that much time, I just figured I'd throw this out there. The only way you're going to stop this shit is to rebel against it. We heard the comment earlier that, you know, they do this in dance routines and everything else, and if you don't do certain moves, you get points taken away from you and everything else. Well, you know what? Maybe if parents were a little bit more involved and knew what the hell was going on, they wouldn't allow their kids to go and do that shit.
Yeah, like I
And
said, that's why
they
she's
should
only in it for a year.
they should be completely rebelling against this shit. They should be canceling shit like Netflix that puts this crap out. I don't care if Netflix has all these other shows that you could enjoy. Netflix ain't going to learn a damn thing unless people start canceling and hitting them in the pocketbooks where they deserve to be hit. So they don't do this shit anymore. The dance companies and shit that the kids are doing these days, they should be pulling the kids out of it, not allowing them to do that shit. That's the only way they're going to learn and not normalize this bullshit.
Well, back in 92, 93, the cheerleading troop at my high school, they were doing this.
And see, they started it back then, and it's just pushed it more and more and more to where it's basically sexual acts they're doing now,
Pretty
calling
much.
it dance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, back in when I went to high school, I graduated in 02. So, I mean, it's not much further from UCC. But, I mean, when I went to high school then, it's like, okay, this is kind of cool because I was their age. However, I would never want to be their parents.
Yeah. Like I said, my daughter wanted to do cheerleading and dance, and so I put her in it, and it was an epic fail because of the routines that they were required to do. And
and it's even being pushed all the way down to like 6-year-olds and shit.
It is. They're learning very, very young because by the time you get into your teen years, you have to know those routines down.
Yeah. And the worst part is, parents aren't seeing the negative side of this. Okay, yes, a 6-year-old doing something like that can be cute to a parent. But to the outside world, guess what?
Yeah. Well, what kind of parent would that be cute to? Because not me.
As in, it's like they can relate. It's their child, father like son, daughter like mother.
Oh, okay. Yeah. When my kids watch Star Wars, I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
When they watch Star
Essentially
Trek, I'm
stuff
like,
like that.
yes.
Stuff like that, yeah.
So I guess if you're into twerking, you could go, yes.
Or be like, oh my god, what have I just spawned?
One
and
or the
laugh your
other.
ass off at yourself.
Philip Gaming, I recognize your comment. I'm not ignoring you. Kronos, I'm not ignoring you either, by the way. But Philip Gaming, I'm not ignoring your comment. I just won't put it up on the screen. That's a subject for
Yeah,
for a
I
much
agree there,
different
Philip.
day.
I mean, unfortunately, I learned what sex was at 3. I ain't going to make a movie about that shit. I ain't even going to write a book about it.
Rambling Canuck, do we have what time is karaoke starting?
10 Central.
Oh, okay. We can keep going if y'all want to.
Well, I got to get out of here and go finish preparing for my thing. I
think
just wanted to come up and state my case on the show.
I appreciate that, Deej.
And I totally agree with you, DJ. And also, thanks, Kronos.
I think we can pretty much wrap this up, though. I don't think there's too much more else to say on the subject without getting really deep into the woods. And I'm not, a sociologist or psychologist or anything. So
I'm not either, but apparently I should have gone to people told me I should have.
I blame it all on Hollywood, the media,
Yeah.
and the universities that promote all this bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, while Hollywood's like, oh, we're going to make money off of this, they forget. They're not going to make money off of that. Of people who actually enjoy watching that for the simple fact that it's a so-called coming of age thing. They're going to get money off of it from the fact that, well, there's some nasty people out there.
My question is, how is it coming of age? Is it coming of age like dance troops are a rite of passage?
Yeah.
No, I think it's more of coming of age as in she's no, okay.
I think it's due to her expressing herself or shit like that, but
I had the quote, but I deleted it and I'm not going to bring it back up, but it has my memory sucks. Well, first of all, it's rated TVMA.
Well, I know what coming of age, but and they're nowhere near the age. So what does it really mean?
Yeah.
Well, I think that was the problem with the advertising for the American market on Netflix is they didn't really expect any of us to call them out on it. They just expected us to go, oh, TVMA, that means my kids can't watch it with me. And so this is an 11-year-old who's, what, twerking? Oh, we're pissed now.
Wait a minute. The problem is you label something MA. Parents aren't watching what the hell their kids are watching anyway. The kids are going to see that and say, oh, this should be something that we should watch. Parents ain't paying attention.
A lot of parents aren't. You're right.
Oh, this is something that mommy told me not to watch. I'm going to watch it because she doesn't take care of me.
And you got the assholes in Hollywood that protect people like Roman Polanski, Epstein,
Weinstein.
Yeah.
Well, There is one thing I'd like to add to this, if I may, Mr. CCTV.
Yes.
One of the major things that irk me as a dad is one of these will come out, and the first thing that will happen is anti-parent talk, which annoys the daylights out of me, because it's usually the parent's fault, guaranteed.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Here's my problem with that, and it's my counter. As a father who has raised an 18-year-old, raising a 16-year-old, I have an 11-year-old and a 13-year-old boy.
Yeah.
11-year-old daughter. Throughout the years that they were growing up, I have had my hands tied as a parent more than I ever want to say.
Yeah.
We've had to fight stupidity. For instance, 4 years ago, some jackass got as far as City Hall with a motion that would make it so that if you had a child from the age of 13 on and you didn't have internet in your house, they could charge you with child abuse.
Wow.
For hindering their social development. Not shitting you. That was what they wanted. It never got passed, thank God. But yes, there is a group of stupid mother out there that believe that from 13 on, a child should be given access to the internet or you are hindering their social development.
I'm sorry, but giving them access to the internet is hindering their social development.
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
Right? And so as a parent in this wonderful, stupid world, yes, it is one thing to say, well, the parents aren't paying attention. The other problem is they're getting their hands tied.
Yeah.
Kronos there is a pretty good example. He's still 16.
And here's a stupid rule that is actually on the books. We have what we call CFS up here, Child Family Services, which I guess down in the States would be the same as
Protection
Service.
Yeah, CPS.
Yeah. Okay. So one of their unwritten little rules that when they go in a home and inspect is if you ground your child for more than 2 weeks, that's child abuse. Did you know that?
I did, in fact. My ex-wife. One of my neighbors called my ex-wife.
Discipline them the way you used to anymore.
You can't ground them for more than 2 weeks because that's hindering their social fucking development.
Yeah.
So, as a parent in this day and age, you can have your kids taken away because you grounded them for a month. Think about that for a second.
Well, they when I lived in California, one of my neighbors called CPS on my wife, and so when CPS came to the house, they found out I was a veteran. They looked at my awards on the walls and things like that. The whole investigation shifted from her to me.
Yeah. There was an instance when I was a kid where a CPS worker tried to take me from my mom simply because she put herself in the hospital and the CPS worker found out she was bipolar. Just because she was bipolar did not mean she didn't take care of me. She did not mean she couldn't take care of me.
There are CFS workers that believe that fathers should not change their daughters.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or bathe them.
Yeah.
So, what is Hollywood thinking putting this movie out? In this type of society, what is Hollywood thinking putting this movie out? Who are they marketing it to? What do they expect?
Honestly, I think they're marketing it to pedophiles. I'm not going to lie.
Hey, Tiki of Doom.
Tiki.
All right. Well, I gotta get out of here.
All right, Deej. I'll see you later, man.
Yeah, I gotta go do my thing in an hour. All right.
But yeah, I mean, my honest opinion is they are literally catering this to pedophiles.
Well, that is in fact the way that it was marketed on not YouTube, but on Netflix, right? That's the way it was marketed. TVMA with a description that says, "Hello, AVP. How are you tonight, darling?" I get to say darling, right? Okay, so it's marketed as an 11-year-old who joins a twerking group and explores or learns about her sexuality. That's the way it was originally marketed on YouTube. And they issued an apology, changed the poster, changed the description. But who are you marketing it to?
Yeah.
Have a good night,
They're
Kronos.
not going to watch that.
Or good morning, or good night. I'm not sure where you're at, Kronos.
I've got a question. I've got a question for you. Remove one word from that description, and does all this go away? Does all this actually go away? Remove the word twerking. If the word twerking wasn't in that description, do you think this would have blown up the way it has?
Once they saw what was going on, definitely.
I don't know. Honestly, I really don't know. I don't. How many parents go to the dance competitions and go, "Oh, I can't watch this," but they never do anything about it? And how many people on YouTube have kids of the age that are going to dance competitions?
No,
and go,
I don't think it would.
I can't.
I don't think you're asking the right question. How many parents will go to one of these competitions and watch their kid twerk and just root them on?
So
Oh,
There's the big question.
that is a good question. I don't want to answer that question because,
Yeah, that's a scary question, isn't it?
well, no, I'll answer it for myself. I can't answer it for any other parents. I wouldn't. It disgusts me. It always has, even in high school, even in junior high. It always disgusted me.
Yeah. I mean, to me,
Now, when I was an adult and I went to the gentlemen's entertainment clubs, then it was a little different. But
yeah, because you were a grown-ass adult watching grown-ass adults.
yeah. Oh, we got a new member of the panel. Welcome, Alicia, AVP. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, guys. So you guys are talking about that new show, Cuties, right?
Yeah, just the trailer though. We can't comment on the movie because none of us have seen it. But
I have to
just the
point
trailer.
out Purple Valkyrie.
I've seen the picture of it that Orange Hat Review talked about. Ugh, that's so cringy. I mean, who in their right mind is letting their children act like little sluts, honestly?
Thousands of people are. Thousands of people are.
Oh, that's so cringy. And they're saying that, that's good parenting. What? No, it ain't.
All right, there's embracing your child's ideals. Then they're not doing anything about what's wrong with their ideals.
Yes. No worries, Darth Haster.
Yeah.
Don't
worry,
I know.
I know how that is.
Yeah, internet lag sucks.
Yeah, I finally got mine fixed.
But yeah, that's one of the biggest problems right now is that it's not this movie in particular. It is.
It's going on much too long, sadly. I mean, and they want to.
Yeah, I mean,
they started too young, way too young, because it started. I mean, I'm not trying to cut anybody off, but I think about the show Toddlers and Tiaras, where the mother literally made her daughter's costume from the Pretty Woman costume. I'm thinking, what 3-year-old is going to be dressing like a hooker in their right mind? Honestly, most 3-year-olds don't even know what a hooker is.
Yeah, exactly. And
most 3-year-olds want to be dressed as a dinosaur.
Hey, my 10-year-old wants to be a dinosaur. I'm gonna let her.
I mean, let us be a
Not
dinosaur. I mean,
sexual.
I was a very tomboyish little girl and stuff like that, and I dressed up and stuff like that. But I also knew there were certain ways a girl was supposed to act, and there certain ways a girl was not supposed to act. So,
Yeah, I mean,
Well, like I said, when I was an adult, I went to the clubs,
mhm,
and when women danced like that, I was like, woohoo! And then I'd go to my son's elementary school talent show, and the girls would dance like that, and I'd go, "Oh God, what the hell have we done?"
mhm, yeah,
yeah, it's
Well,
like
sorry, go ahead.
I do agree with what Valkyrie says. No, because the content in the trailer stays the same. I agree with that. We'd all be in an uproar even if there were a few choice words and the explanation out of it. And like you said, Cece, I mean, this has been an issue since the 90s, maybe even before. I mean, I can understand as being a teen at one time wanting to feel rebellious, wanting to feel, uh, you know, admired, adored, enjoyed. But there's a point in which we as adults, parents or not, need to look at this and go, all right, time to stop.
Well, that's one of the things. Well, I don't know. That's why I started the Bible study on Monday morning. That's why I started comparative religion on Wednesday night. That's why I do these things, so I can put that out there. It's like we are not doing the right thing anymore.
And
mhm,
what I would add to that is it's all fine and dandy to blame the parents and say the parents should be doing more. However, on the same token, if you're going to say the parents need to do more, you have to let us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to
Right
mention,
now, society isn't.
yeah,
Because by the same token, you can have it where you can, for the simplest thing, can lose your child
agreed.
if
Yeah.
the right person makes the right phone call to the right person.
Yeah.
And
mhm,
what it is, and that's scary. So as a parent, you parent in fear because it's the first time in a very long time where a parent can be completely right on a moral standpoint, but completely wrong on a social standpoint.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
there's a difference between abuse and discipline. And a lot of people are like, I was abused when I was a kid. I was spanked. No, you were disciplined, I bet. 90% of the time, that was discipline. However, there were lines that were crossed. I do
Yeah.
understand that. I do agree with that kind of shit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, do not take away the right and the ability to parent from parents who do it correctly.
And then blame the parent when the kid goes crazy.
Yeah, and then blame the parent. When the
and
kid
I'm
becomes
sorry, but
fucking
that's what
psychopath.
society does on a whole is, well, how could these parents allow this to happen? Because in some
Well-
cases, they don't have a freaking choice.
Honestly,
true.
honestly,
But I was,
I'm going to bring up something quite controversial here. Honestly, I think part of the parenting issue started before Columbine, and thus that's why Columbine happened.
There were issues in the 60s and 70s
Yeah.
that began a lot of this. So it wasn't
Yeah.
It wasn't Columbine specifically.
No.
Otherwise,
No, it wasn't Columbine specifically, but I'm saying that Columbine is a retort to what's happened to parenting.
now, Resolute Germ, I would love to invite you to Wednesday nights. I know I had to cancel last night. I apologize, everybody, but I was really feeling bad.
Honestly, Resolute, there's a lot of people who won't read the Bible simply because it's religion. But when you push it into their hands and say, look, I don't want you to look at it at a religious value. Just look at it at the standpoint of what it is. A lot more people will actually look at it and read it.
And Robert Rose Jr. brings up a very good point as well. I've never been a fan of rap music, but it seems in the last 20 years it's gotten to the point where it's nothing but working.
I mean,
it's awful.
Old school rap, I can actually understand. Gangster rap and shit like that. Hip hop, I mean, where the origins start.
Mm-hmm.
But these days, I'm sorry, but I don't care if you have a Maserati. I don't care if you have a Bugatti. What I care about is what is your life choice? What are you trying to tell people? That you're rich? So what? So isn't everybody else who puts a record label out there.
Alicia, you want to get a point out on the trailer?
I have a cousin that's actually into hip hop, and he's very clean now. But the way the music industry, the media industry is nowadays, and the way people are, sadly, parents are not parenting because honestly, they don't have a backbone. Their kids are literally being the parent, and the parent is being the child.
Yeah.
And it's reversed so much. It's so backwards, and it's so scary and cringy. Yeah, I was disciplined, and I knew the difference between abuse and discipline.
Oh yeah, I mean, I lived through abuse. I lived through.
Yeah, I did too.
I know the difference between the two.
I do too. And I mean, I did too, sadly. And the thing is, I know firsthand that these parents and the media, it's all goes together. The media is portraying parenting the wrong way. They're portraying children the wrong way. It's all going together, and it's all one big mumble jumble. And it's sadly, it's getting worse.
And
there was a talent show in the UK that only lasted one season. Mini Pops. It was little kids dressing in adult costumes and makeup and singing pop songs. It was heavily criticized by the public.
Yep. And even put a bill up there too. I mean, that makes a lot of sense there too.
It's a mixed bag. I wrote a book on the Old Testament. I just never got it published. So
yeah, the Old Testament is definitely a mixed bag. I mean, there's good and bad in it, and rightfully so.
I was actually went to a Church of England primary school. I went to to Sunday school. I'm no longer religious, but I do agree with the point.
Values.
I agree with the values. I still agree with the point that yes, the lessening of religion. I'm in two minds. I was not brought up an atheist. I would say these days I'm more of an agnostic.
Yeah.
But I have perfect respect for Mr. CDDV and anyone else who has a religious belief. I think it's a point that yes, I think that the decline of religion as an influence has actually been a bad thing. I think it's tied in with, as Mark's put it also, the decline of the family. I think it's a long-term plan to destroy what we call Western values, which is why I think, to be quite honest, if we talk about parents of young children, I think the problem isn't the parents. Even from the point of view where you can say, well, the parents are doing this, it's the way they were brought up. It's the education system until that they went through that started this. So it's going back. We're now. I mean, we say that films, TV, and the rest of it are 2 or 3 years behind the times because of the time it takes to produce TV shows. You take an education. Yeah, that's 20 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, for instance, when I was in high school, I remember the In God We Trust legal action. All right,
Oh yeah, yeah.
all
I
right.
remember
That
that.
had so much of an impact that our principal, who was a devout Christian, told the Bible club, "Look, I don't know how long you're going to last right now, but we're going to have to temporarily shut you down till
Yeah,
this blows over."
I did. I tried to start a Bible study in my high school back in '92. Is that right? Whew. They wouldn't let me. 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 And then we were finally like, fine, can we just gather at lunchtime?
Yeah, pretty much that's what our Bible club had to do at that time. And here's the thing. Like you, Colin, I've gotten away from the faith as a religion. I, however, have adopted a spiritualist aspect to it.
Mm.
As in, I've seen so many churches, and it's the churches that turn me off on religion.
We talked about that 2 weeks ago. We were supposed to talk about what the church was doing right this week, so that's been postponed because I wasn't feeling well.
Yeah,
That's okay. Don't
But I
feel
mean-
too bad. I wouldn't have been able to do it either. I couldn't get out of my bed for 6 hours.
Oh, jeez.
Don't feel bad. I've been dealing with an abscess tooth.
Ow. Jeez.
Yeah.
Hi, caramba.
But, I mean, in essence, I was brought up in a Christian family, not just a Christian family, a military Christian family. So you can understand where that comes from.
Mm.
Yeah, I was that military Christian family. Are you my son?
No, I may be your brother.
What
But
I find,
But I
sorry,
mean,
go on.
it was a very strict, very devoted lifestyle. And it worked. There was a foundation to that kind of parenting. There was a foundation to that kind of leniency to my life. I mean, yes, it was strict, but there were times I could be myself and get away with it and not be torn into about it.
Yeah,
You know?
but like I said earlier, I
But
wouldn't
when
let
I
my
did wrong, yeah, I got
would-
reprimanded.
I
like-
wouldn't let my daughter walk out of the house without putting either leggings on under her dress or changing her clothes because her dress was too short. And I was like, "Oh no, no, no! You're not walking down the street in that dress. You better go change."
I
And
wouldn't even I wouldn't even be allowed to wear. Someone gave me some of those kind of clothing. My mom said, "Nope, give it back to the person that gave it to you. You're not wearing any of those, not even in the house. Nope, give it back to her, every single one of them." And I didn't wear any of those things ever.
That was just earlier today.
Well, I think someone mentioned in chat earlier on, and we've had this, I know, and in this country as well. So what you just look at, admittedly, you're talking secondary education, so high school in your country. But you just look at how short school uniforms, girls' school uniforms are. Then that's where they want to work because that's the fashion.
Yeah.
And
And
going back to what you're saying in the first place, it's what are our children and our young adults actually picking up?
yeah, and here's the sad part. Fashion for adults and fashion for kids and preteens and teens should not be the same.
Mm-mm.
Oh,
No.
Unfortunately, teens want to grow up so fast that they want to be adults, thus they want to dress like them, they want to act like them, they want to do everything like them. Unfortunately, they do not understand why we have to say that.
Mm-hmm.
They
their
haven't
brains are in flux.
yeah, they haven't seen the crux as we have. And that's the sad part about it. And those that have, unfortunately, they're scarred for life. And I mean, that's the sad truth about it. I mean, like I was saying, if I did something wrong, I'd get reprimanded. Like, for instance, if I threw all the dishes in the kitchen around and then stormed out the door, oh yeah, I was not only going to hear about it, I was going to feel it, and I was also going to be seeing my room for quite a long time.
Have a good evening, Mark.
Yeah,
See
good
you
evening, Mark.
later.
Jury dinner. What is
Now,
sorry, go.
if you so much as yell as your kid and the wrong person hears it, you're fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's pretty tough. When my kids were little, and mind you, I was in Germany at the time, stationed in Germany. And my kids were 3 and 4 years old. We would go to the store and I would spank them, and someone would go, "Oh, you're not allowed to do that." Really? First of all, read the law. Second of all, read the regulation. Third of all, call somebody if you don't like it.
Yeah. Don't go, "You're not allowed to do that." Show proof of exactly what I'm doing to somebody who actually knows what to do in that instance, not somebody who's going to take your side, and find out, are they allowed to do that?
Mind you, when they got to 7, 8 years old, it was like, "Oh, your kids are the most well-behaved kids I've ever seen."
Oh, yeah.
You think?
Oh yeah. My neighbors used to say that all the time about me. I remember that because we had one neighbor, they were so loose with their kids and everything like that. And my parents were so strict with me. And so the girl would sneak out of her parents' bedroom and stuff like that. And she'd literally ask me the next day, "Hey, have you seen my daughter?" I'm like, "No," because my parents were still strict with me. I knew when the outside lights came on the street lamp, I had to be inside the house. She would be out and down the streets and everything like that, doing whatever. And like I said, she couldn't find her own daughter, and her daughter's my age. She's got like 5 kids, doesn't have a single baby daddy that's all the same. Me, I'm the same age, yeah, but I don't have any kids. I'm not married. So that shows the difference between her and me. Who's the loose one? Who's the free one? Who's the strict one?
Yeah. And I mean, that also ties into the whole aspect of, like, the early 2000s. There was the whole teen baby boom.
Too much, way too much. Because honestly, there were so many when I graduated. Because I graduated in 2003, and honest to God, there were so many girls when I graduated. Next thing I know, I see on Facebook when I see them about, I think 5 years later, on 2010, every single one of them had a kid, and they're looking at me like, "You haven't had a single kid yet?" I'm like, "Nope, I'm not settling down until I find the right one. And if it ain't the right one, adios."
I completely understand that too. And the sad part about it is, even when I was in high school, and like you, I graduated in 02 instead of 03.
Okay.
And I'm sitting here and I'm like, you're 15 fucking years old. You have a full fucking life ahead of you. Why are you having a kid now?
Yeah, because you're still a baby yourself. You're still a baby yourself. You can't even take care of yourself. So you take care of a baby.
Well, here's the sad part. A lot of them learned the hard way.
Yes.
And unfortunately, a few of them had to drop out because of their kids.
Yeah, that happened with some family members. Yeah.
It wasn't actually because of their kids. It was because their parents forced them to take care of their kids.
Ew, soap with pepper on it. Wow.
No.
Wow. No,
That's almost as wild as some of my church members who he was so strict with his kids, but he didn't spank them now, and he didn't do stuff like that, but instead he'd do some harsh punishments, like giving them ginger to swallow.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, yeah. I'm like, ouch.
Well, I think we're all done talking about cuties.
Yeah, I think we've evolved into the outlying problem.
The outlying problem, of course, being societal undermining of values and things like that, and family values, etc., and what the government's doing to stop parents from disciplining their kids. Wow, we've gone through a lot of topics.
Yeah, and here's the sad part about it. It all connects.
Final thoughts.
We did not derail a train with me in here.
We did not. It actually all ties together. Final thoughts on the trailer, Colin P.
Glad I haven't seen it, but I really do. I honestly think that we are the only way to actually have a real valid opinion on it may be to watch it, because to try to work out exactly what the intention of the filmmaker or the writer producer
Yeah.
was.
Yeah,
I mean, we do not actually know what the filmmaker actually wants out of this. We just know that it was advertised quite wrongly.
and
Yes.
like I said earlier, it was not her. It was not her story. Like, she didn't write it as an autobiography. She actually went out on the streets of Paris and talked to groups of little girls.
Was it in Paris? I thought it was in North Africa. Or was it just set in North Africa?
No, it's in Paris. It was filmed in
Oh,
Paris,
right.
written by a Parisian woman, and directed by a Parisian
And
woman.
I know it's set in North Africa, isn't it? Somewhere, I think, or at least North African French community, but it's in France. I'm not sure.
Rosetta. Okay, I'll extend it again, for crying out loud. I was gonna wind it up 45 minutes ago, but Rosetta's here.
Yeah, I kind of want to hear what Rosetta has to say
I would
about
love to hear what Rosetta has to say about it. Sorry about that, Colin.
All right.
Come on up, Rosetta, and let us know what you thought about the trailer for Cuties. You want to finish up your final thoughts, or you want to stick around for a while, Colin?
I'll stick around for a while. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I thought so. It's set in Senegal. Yeah.
No, it's a Senegal family living in Paris.
Ah, right. Okay. Yeah, I was actually interested enough. Was it someone was bringing up some of the tweets, and one of the tweets in response to the thing is also Netflix supposedly, whether it's real or not, there's a picture of this tweet, and one of them asks Netflix, "Are you in favour of the P word? Yes or no, not?" And their answer is so mealy mouth and backpedaling, it's unbelievable. And
Yeah.
that was doing any favours at all.
Well, it's kind of their thing, if you remember what happened to that one CEO they had.
Yes. Yeah, I remember something like that.
Yeah, they kind of backpedaled a lot on that, too.
Mm.
It's like, oh, they're a great person. They do this, they do that, blah, blah, blah. They bring in new talent, blah, blah, blah.
Did Rosetta leave already?
Ah!
Did Rosetta leave already? I thought she was going to come up and give her opinion. Dang.
Yeah, dang.
By that much.
I guess she left. I don't see her in the
She's
chat
still in
anymore.
the chat. She's still in the chat.
Nope. I see Chrono still in there, and Resolute Germ and Robert.
If you type in at her name, she's still there.
Oh,
Yeah.
she may be going back
She may
and
be busy
reviewing.
due to, well, what happened where she lives.
Oh, slow connection. That may be the case.
Yeah.
Colin P., you want to finish up, or are you done?
I was about done now, I think.
Okay. Rambling Canuck?
Gives me some ideas.
Rambling Canuck, you want to give your final thoughts?
My final thoughts are, well, I really don't think this should have been made or marketed the way it was. And I would say, before too many people judge parents, because it always happens when these kind of things happen, next time you see a bill coming forward where, parents' rights are going to be slashed again, fight it.
Yeah.
Because we can only do as much as we're allowed.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, it ain't what it used to be.
Well, those laws were written to keep people from abusing children, but it got expanded to the point where
It actually hurt the children.
Yeah, it hurts the children because parents who don't abuse their children are not allowed to discipline their children.
And thus they're neglecting their children, which is abuse.
So it
Full
just
circle.
it's not it can't be boiled down to as simple as, well, it's the parents' fault,
Yeah.
because that argument drives me insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
The
the
main,
parents' fault is more like one of those golden age stereotypes. One that we need to drop, but we need to also understand there are parents whose children are their parents' fault. But at the same
And
time,
Darth
there's those
Haster.
children who's actually it's the fault of the legal system.
Hold on. Darth Haster, if you want to come up and give your final thoughts as well, you're welcome to. The link is up there somewhere. I lost track of it. Anyway, oh no, Rosetta. She was just here.
She was?
She was just here. I was just about to bring her up. Dang.
Maybe a poor connection then.
Yeah, maybe. No worries. I want to get her opinion on this. Sorry, Rambling Canuck, go ahead and finish up.
but yeah, as far as this, I think they marketed it completely wrong, and I don't think it's doing Netflix any favors.
No.
And it's definitely not doing parents any favors, because I mean, quite honestly, I don't know how many times I've heard, well, Dad, this one can do it, why can't I? And now you're putting it on screen. Thanks, needed that. So all in all, I think it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
All right, Angura Angelus.
Well, first off, I do agree with both Colin and Andrew. I mean, there's a lot to this. I believe it is a big marketing fail. And unlike a lot of marketing fails that actually become successes, I don't think this is going to be a success. For the simple fact of what it underlies. And that alone, if it actually has a moral behind it that needs to be addressed, it will not be addressed. For the simple fact that most people probably will not watch it. Now, if we watch it and actually see, okay, so there is a moral behind this, that our kids are a little worse than what we were, then yeah, we got issues. Because Netflix went and did something proactive with a 15-year-old. I can understand them wanting to be proactive about things. However, there are times when you have to be negative. Sorry, but that's just the world. And yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, I'm just sitting here looking at all of it and going, okay, I never watched the trailer. I've heard about what's going on with the trailer. I've seen little clips here and there. But what I've seen, I've gotten enough information to go, oh, shit. This has been a problem for a while. And it's now finally being reviewed. And it's now finally being reviewed. Welcome to our world now.
It's okay. Yeah. Is that it then?
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, unless you want me to ramble.
No, it's fine. Alicia, it's your turn.
Okay, so what I think Netflix needs to do is perhaps maybe change their trailer promo picture if possible, and also put a warning label before people start watching it, letting them know that maybe this is a true story, or something as a viewer discretion kind of thing. I mean, I'm not saying we can't handle it, because obviously we're all adults, but obviously some child is going to stumble upon this, but to let them know, hey, this is not the norm, and this should not be the norm because of these reasons.
Well,
And
Well, they kicked off their campaign labeling it TVMA.
mhm.
see,
So
I
it's
think
only for
this-
mature audiences.
to me,
Yeah.
I think they need to have a little bit more protection than just that, if possible.
Yeah, the ESRB only works so far.
And then
Have,
the
like,
poster
I don't know,
itself,
some things
yeah.
be password protected because certain things, because kids get too much
Ha! Got you
information
this
too
time,
quick.
Rosetta.
It crashed last time. Remember, I'm in the mountains.
Okay.
Rosetta.
Hold on a second while Alicia finishes up her thoughts.
Okay.
So basically, I think these parents, if they're going to watch it, and if their kid is watching it, they need to watch it with them side by side. That way they can answer these questions with the kids. Because I remember this episode of the Ghost Rider show back in the 90s, and there was a drug episode dealt with that. And they said, kids, do not watch this alone. Watch this with somebody you trust. If they
Yeah,
can do this, if they can do this kind of warning thing with this kind of show, even though it's the 21st century, do it.
exactly. Instead of mislabeling it MA, write it TV PG-13 or something like that, you know?
No,
Like, watch it
PG-13
with a
is
parent
too.
or...
Here's the problem. PG-13 is rated G to most people
Yeah.
these days.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, I guess the disclaimer at the beginning would be the better way to
The
go.
disclaimer
Or even
does
on the trailer.
also maybe just, like I said, put something on the trailer, put something there that way, and change their marketing strategy. Take the picture off and maybe just put the title there instead of just doing this picture, because if not, that's going to get, instead of getting good publicity, sadly this is getting Netflix, where people are going to say, nope, cancel, I don't want it.
Yeah.
Well, they put warnings on 3-year-old movies that they're outdated and on bloody Disney cartoons, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Well, I
You know,
mean, do you blame
how
them with
about-
Disney? Have you
No,
seen the
this is
hidden agendas behind them?
This is true. But I mean, how about a warning? This can, okay,
All right.
again, people used to them.
Let me go ahead and get a handle on this because
Yeah.
I've been sitting in this chair for a while. Rosetta, it is your turn. Remember that we talked about this is done by a French film director, French writer, and it was done in Paris, France, and she interviewed a bunch of little girls before she wrote the script. So I understand that.
I know that stuff, but
Okay.
I'm sorry on one thing. When you come to a point where you're filming something where you have actual 11-year-olds filming themselves twerking, I don't care. You're sexualizing and abusing children.
Okay. But yeah, your thoughts. Go ahead. You got beginning,
Let's make
middle,
it
and
very
end.
simple there for that part, because I'm sorry, I understand there are stories where you have to tell about what kids go through, stuff like that, and believe me, I've got my own there. But there are levels where you don't do certain things with live children because you don't teach them that stuff. You don't involve them in that stuff.
Right.
And all I need to, they can have all their other arguments and everything. The moment you say 11-year-olds twerking, animated if you want to make this story. Don't use real kids.
I wouldn't even go the animated route personally.
I wouldn't either. I think it's absolutely disgusting and vulgar, but I'm saying if you really think this story has to be told, do not involve children in it. Do not put them through where they're learning something like that. They shouldn't learn. They should be innocent.
I really hate going to talent shows and cheer competitions and dance competitions and things like that. I really hate going to them. I really do. So I understand.
I mean, I can't, I can't get over the idea of that. And I'm sitting here today driving in the hills with my dad running errands and my 13-year-old niece. And they're going, if anybody tried ever to try to get her to do the stuff that's even in the freaking trailer for this movie, I'd fucking kill them. I would fucking cut their throat if they tried to touch her that way or get her to do that stuff. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, I've got a 10-year-old daughter, and she's running through the house constantly with her friends, and it's like, oh, good God.
And you look at these kids, and then you see that freaking poster. I don't care if that the poster's a bad light. You still had the kids model for it. The kids still did that action.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't care what
You
your
could have
excuse is
chose
for.
any other crop of that palette of video that you have. You chose that.
Mhm.
Why?
But
Yeah.
even at that point, once you have had the kids go in and freaking take that picture, even if you decide that it's disgusting and you don't want to use it, the damage is done. They've already had to model that way. They've already had to learn that action.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But from what I'm understanding is she didn't ask them to dance how they dance. They danced that way because that's how they dance.
Yeah, I don't believe that, honestly. I know that that's what they're
Yeah,
telling
well,
everybody now, but
It's all
I think that's
hearsay.
damage
She said-
control.
she said
I'm
right
sure
now.
they had a choreographer on set.
Yeah, see, I very much doubt the kids said, "Ooh, please let me shake my butt." I very
No,
much
because
doubt that.
no, because I know I was a cheerleader when I was about 7 or 8 years old, and they did not let us wear the long. They didn't let us wear the short skirts. We had to wear pants underneath it. We had to wear even the
Mm-hmm.
turtleneck. I remember. I still have a picture somewhere of me with a turtleneck, and I got this cheerleader shirt, and I also have these, and I have these long, and the skirt I had to wear long, and I had to wear shorts underneath it. So they wouldn't let us do that even at 7 or 8 years of age. So whoever's doing this now is not thinking about what they're doing.
Well, the thing is, and what's really disgusting to me is the lengths some people are going through to defend this.
Yeah.
Even so much pointing out other movies where they've sexualized children and going, well, look at this one. Why are you upset with this one? It's like, how about they're all kill it with fire movies? How about
Right.
they all should be completely destroyed and the kids should be paid back for the therapy they're going to need for being put through it? Can we
Lolita-
go that route?
Lolita is not a movie of coming of age or a touching story of love. Lolita
No.
was a story of abuse by an
Mm-mm.
older man to a younger woman.
And it was a book, but even when they did movies based on it, they hired girls older than the actual part because they didn't want somebody that young in it.
Yeah.
Because it is that disturbing, it is that sick and stuff. And they also cut most of the darkest parts so you wouldn't see them and the kid wouldn't have to actually interact with it.
Yeah.
There's a difference there. And actually, the book actually has quite a lesson to it, as disturbing as it is, because it's not about sexualizing the child, it's about warning you not to.
Yeah, exactly. And the movies don't really portray that.
Yeah. And see, and this is, I'm sorry, everything about this makes my skin crawl. And visceral reactions. And by the way, now that I've ranted a little, hello, Agora, I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, I've been dealing with abscess.
I know, you told me. But I mean, and this has been setting me off all day because I work with abuse and rape victims in the inner city stuff. I have so many nieces and nephews. I've been through a lot of this kind of stuff myself as a child, and they've seen this stuff today, and I'm like, it's setting me off.
It seems like they're trying to normalize it so that we no longer go, oh, that's wrong. Well, that's your opinion. Really?
Yeah.
It's not an opinion. She's 11, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, this is not an opinion. This is fact.
Yeah. Exactly.
Now, I understand one of my friends went out and he pointed out that he's annoyed and fucking hot with the people that are pissed about this, ranty about this, but were silent with all these multiple movies in the last few years where they've really sexualized preteen to early teen boys. I agree with him there.
Yeah.
None of them should have been made. None of it's okay.
I agree.
But he has a legitimate point. Why is it okay being done to one set of children?
Yeah, I mean, just because it's a girl does not mean that we should go ranting and raving and ignore the little boy.
And there's been a stigma to that. There's this attitude that if it happens with preteen to teenage boys, oh, they wanted it. It's not the same thing as happening to a girl. Yes, it is. Yes, it fucking is.
It is.
Yes,
It's very
it
much
fucking
the
is.
same thing.
Wrong is wrong, whoever did it, male or female. I don't care
I'm
who it is.
sorry, but I mean,
There's this societal attitude, though, that's a real problem where they act like it's not a big deal if a boy under 18 ends up dragged into something sexual with an adult. And I'm sorry, it fucking is.
All right.
You've only
Rosetta,
got enough-
hold on,
you've only got-
everybody. Captain Trek is live right now, and I've been on for 2 hours. So, Rosetta, if you want to wrap it up, we'll call
Kill
it a
it.
night
Kill
here.
it with fire.
Kill it with fire. Kill it with fire. All this pre-teen and teenage stuff where they're being abused by older people, or in this case, it's a coming of age story where you watch little girls dance for 2 hours. Let's just stop this shit. All right?
Yeah.
It's not okay. It is not all right.
No.
It's not something that needs to be showed in a movie, and it's something that Netflix never should have bought. I don't give a shit if it won an award at Cannes. I
How
don't
about
give
this?
a shit if it won an award at Sundance. I don't give a shit what country it was done in. Don't bring it to my country.
Can I point out that one of the two founders of Sundance went to jail for child abuse and sexual abuse with children?
We did actually talk about that earlier. Yeah.
Like I said, I just got back from the mountains, so I didn't hear that. But I mean, come on,
No.
are we going to cite Sundance as proof that it's a decent thing? Please, please, people.
Not everything Sundance releases is legitimate and worth calling it good quality. It ain't. It ain't.
There's only one movie that I will say that Sundance did a lot better than Hollywood, and that's Ouija.
Okay.
Not a horror movie guy.
I'm not a
All right,
horror
folks.
either, but
Thank
I'll
you.
take your word at that.
Thank you all so much for showing up here. I honestly only expected to go for an hour, and I did rant and rave a little bit about societal norms and how we should not accept
How
them.
can you not rant and rave over this?
In this case, we should certainly not accept the societal norm or the Hollywood norm or the Netflix norm, for crying out loud. Let's get rid of all this stuff. Like Rosetta said, let's burn it with fire. Have a great night, everybody. Join Rambling Canuck and I for karaoke tonight in about 2.5 hours. Let's all migrate on over to Captain Trek and see what he has to say.
Absolutely.